A week ago, we saw 70 Chinese ships move into the strait. 2 carriers went farther out into the Pacific.
Unfortunately, that has become a daily reality we've been forced to live with, where they are using many different types of hybrid tools to threaten and coerce our society into submission. We see that as part of what we call the gray zone threats between peace and war.
Let's move to Taiwan-China relations. A week ago, we saw 70 Chinese ships move into the strait. And I believe it was yesterday, 2 carriers went farther out into the Pacific. And so what is the sentiment of the Taiwanese people when these kind of things happen?
Unfortunately, that has become a daily reality, something that is, part of our lives. That's something that we've been forced to live with, although completely undesirable. But I think over the years, it's something that is now not new to the Taiwanese people. In fact, when we were having our first ever presidential election in 1996, after 37 years of martial law and one-party dictatorship, we finally, for the first time, could vote and elect our own leader. And the Chinese responded to that with firing missiles and military drills. And so they've been doing this repeatedly over the years and unfortunately intensified recently. So, that is another reason why, again, we cannot take the status quo for granted, that we have to invest more in our defense. We have to do more to make our society resilient. And part of that military presence, and not only the naval presence, but the air incursions into the surrounding air defense identification zone has also become a significant problem. And we see that as part of what we call the gray zone threats. That is between peace and war. There is a gray zone where they are using many different types of hybrid tools to threaten and coerce our society into submission. And, the military measures are part of that. But there are also many other steps they are taking, such as cognitive warfare through disinformation, political intervention in our society. They are also, using economic trade tools as another leverage for coercing members of our business community and other foreign countries, threatening them from having ties or relations with Taiwan by using that economic leverage. And so they are doing a lot. And in response, we've talked a lot about Taiwan's own military investments and our preparedness, but I also want to raise another very important initiative of our president, and that is a whole of society defense and resilience project. That is, we see our country's security as not only in military terms, but in societal resilience terms. That is, we need communications resilience because our undersea cables have been damaged and cut by Chinese vessels recently, and to ensure that we can continue to communicate with the rest of the world, our data, our comms, so communications resilience, cybersecurity. Our society is one of the most attacked societies in the world in terms of cyberspace. Defending our critical infrastructure, our power, our energy, our transportation lines, the security of our financial system, and also thinking about stockpiling as an island. We need to think about stockpiling critical, food security items, medical supplies, and of course, energy resilience is a continuing challenge for us that we are working on. So we have many lines of efforts going on at the same time to further magnify our strength, our resilience in coping with all of these daily challenges, including the presence of Chinese naval assets around Taiwan. But let me also, again, raise that it's not only around Taiwan. They are all over the South China Sea. They're to the north around Japan. There have also been air incursions into Japanese airspace. There have been, maritime incursions, and this is a challenge that many of us face: how to ensure the freedom of navigation, because that is foundational to global trade. It's foundational to keeping global prosperity and supply chains flowing.
No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.